From one home Grand Prix to another, from Austria to Silverstone in this F1 24 career mode. It is time for the British Grand Prix, and being buoyed by what we did last time out, a 1-2 around the Red Bull ring as the two Toyotas had both DNF'd. Amazing, a huge moment maybe in the season, and maybe more so for our teammate Max Verstappen. If he has a good enough race today, as I alluded to at the end of last episode, he could actually overtake one of the two Toyotas in the Drivers' Championship. And that would be quite something, you know, considering how fast Toyota have been. Right now, though, in qualifying, the first lap wasn't anything amazing and to write home about, as we're only down in P10, Verstappen P8, so maybe slightly on the back foot. It's a yellow first sector, marginal gains in the second and third sector, but things are so tight that might just climb us up a little bit, up to P8. That's better than 10th at least, 2 positions gained with only half a 10th, but wow, for the, what's that now? The third time in a row in these episodes, there's a Williams on pole. I know technically Piastri was on pole for the full Austrian Grand Prix, but there was a Williams on the sprint pole. So Williams, they have genuinely become an incredible qualifying car, at least. But it's a strong showing for the Toyotas to bounce back from last time out. But they need a bounce back, because look at this. Verstappen only 7 points off Tsunoda. That seems a bit unreal considering how dominant Toyota has been and how difficult and up and down things have been for this Red Bull team. You know, myself and Verstappen have faced our share of bad luck. We've both had one engine failure each. You know, we've both had some topsy-turvy races. The Red Bull car isn't the easiest car to drive, but when you can extract the lap time, it's there, and that's what we're going to try and keep on doing every single race, just to see what we can do. You know, at this stage, I'm not really thinking about the championship in either of respect, drivers or constructors. It's just a case of trying to max the results. By the end of the season, we might not even be anywhere near a championship fight, but we've given it a good go. We've tried to have some fun in the season with how good the car can be at times, and that's all you can do in these kind of situations. So with that, we press on to another Grand Prix, trying to just do our best as we go to the British GP.
Welcome to not only the home of British motorsport, but also the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone, a classic on the calendar, and it's time for the British Grand Prix.
In very typical British and Silverstone fashion, it's overcast here for the start of the race. No rain yet, but things can change in an instant, it seems, around this prestige circuit as we line up in P8. Like in Austria, we've got some competitive people around us. The Williams look quick. Ferrari have maybe returned to some sort of form, so that's going to be another car to worry about as we go to 5 red lights. And we are off for the British Grand Prix. Williams off from pole position. Quite amazing to see. It's a great start for us versus our fellow compatriot Lando Norris. We squeeze him out into turn 1. Verstappen trying to get through on the inside, but we've got other ideas as we try and force a move on Albon in Village, and Albon comes back at us, to be fair, as we bang tyres, and good on Albon, to be fair, because I really tried to catch him napping, but he was defiant and dived us back and even hit us back, kind of, to maintain that P6 as Lewis Hamilton gets overtaken by Leclerc. The Ferrari has actually got the Toyota as Verstappen is all over the back of me. Verstappen, maybe just with a bit of momentum and focus from that win in Austria, goes right round the outside of us at Luffield, and we're not going to fight it too much, because as much as I would love to keep my nose in there, we back off a bit, because off the back of a 1-2, we need to keep that up. I can't be slowing us both down fighting, even though, as I've said many times, we are in a career-defining rivalry now. I'm putting that aside. Right now, it's about the team, it's about the season, and the opportunity to maybe have a little bit of a nibble at Toyota, who seem to be getting a little bit weaker as the season goes on, as maybe, to be fair, just other teams get better, and they're understanding their cars, understanding the more, you know, higher tire wear tires we have here in Season 5, as Ocon leads the way. Hulkenberg, yet again, at the forefront, trying to overtake Tsunoda for P2, and Leclerc, he's legit past Hamilton and keeping him at bay. This is the same Ferrari that they'd scored like 0 points in the first couple of races. So this is a really big turn of form for Ferrari in the recent races. Tsunoda with a really good move there to go on the outside. It's like a choreographed dance as you go from left to right, trying to get the power down. And the Toyota does get back into second place. But this is all giving Ocon a bit of breathing room to work with in P1. You know, he's broken DRS. He's looking good. Now, at this stage, you can see I'm all over the back of Verstappen, and I'm going for a move. So I'm actually swapping with Verstappen. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt of you go first. You overtook us well around Luffield, but then he just didn't make a move. So I thought, okay, we need to get a move on here. Let's go for the move ourselves, and then try that repass on Albon. Didn't go too well on lap 1, but now we get the move, and we squeezed Albon so much because I was low-key trying to help Verstappen make a move, because I felt like Verstappen was getting stuck a little bit in the DRS train as Tsunoda and Hulkenberg. It's like deja vu. It's an identical sort of battle on lap 4 as they had on lap 3, but now we're in P6. We're right up behind Lewis Hamilton, Leclerc. We're a part of this train, and this train goes up to P2, down to, well, P7 actually. Albon right behind us, but we're going forwards as Hamilton's stuck behind Leclerc. I say thank you very much, and we go for the move on Lewis. Leclerc going for the move on Hulkenberg. Out of nowhere, the Ferrari might try and grab a podium spot early on in this race, as we are going to try and still squeeze out Lewis. He's really defiant in his Toyota. He's got some speed in there, of course, but in the dirty air, the Toyota doesn't seem as comfortable as it is just when it's them two at the front. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on as the season goes on, as I try and fake to the left, go to the right, sell Leclerc the dummy. We're side by side through the final 2 corners. It's an epic sequence with one of our old title rivals, and to be honest, it's nice to see Leclerc back up here, to be honest. It's nice to see one Ferrari, at least, back up here as Tsunoda goes for the move for the lead of the race. He's pulled away from Hulkenberg, and he may just come to ruin the party for the British Williams team. Toyota might just be back into the lead, showing us, after all the chaos we've had in recent races, they are still the best car on this grid. Tsunoda now leads comfortably, and he's got the measure of Ocon. But let's see how the tyre wear plays in. Of course, a big factor around Silverstone as Hulkenberg's all over the back of Ocon. No! No! In our home race, our actual home race, not the team's home race, we suffer the engine failure. No. Oh, Silverstone has not been happy hunting grounds for me on F1 24. That's like the second engine failure we've had in the series at our home race. Oh, for goodness sake, in a race off the back of 1-2, talking all about trying to keep the pressure on Toyota. And this is going to be a massive relief for them, because you just know the simulated race is going to give them a good result. It is. There you go. It's a 1-2 for Toyota. Hamilton was nowhere near the second place. I'm sorry. Ollie Behrman in third, showing genuinely, even the game simulated thinks Behrman is that good at this point in this series in Season 5, and he gets a podium with the simulated time. That's how you know the game on a base level thinks that Behrman is that good now and is really performing. But that's a sad simulation for Williams, let's say, because Ocon was up there. Same for Haas, same for Verstappen. Where is he? Down the order, and we've now lost out to Toyota there. And ironically, just after that Grand Prix, a secret meeting came. What a beautifully timed secret meeting to have after an engine failure with your current team. Unfortunately, though, which team came for me? Mercedes. Yeah, that absolute dud of a team. Yeah, absolutely not. After Season 3, never going to be driving for Mercedes ever again in this series. So I'm going to say, no thank you. It's actually a bit of a joke and a little bit insulting. You think I would come back to this absolutely washed outfit in last place in the Constructors' Championship? Are you having a laugh? And to be fair, Mercedes, we've got bigger things to worry about, because we've got the next race weekend coming up straight away. Yep, we're going to be loading in to the Hungarian Grand Prix, since that Silverstone weekend experience was incredibly short. We've got a double race episode for this one, because I just felt like the action is too small. I couldn't leave you guys hanging for this episode of the series. So we're now going to the Hungaroring, and we're trying to put past us what just happened, the DNF, and just try and reset and go again. In theory, a track like Hungary is very suited to the Red Bull car historically. Let's see. I've always enjoyed Hungary, actually, on this game specifically. It's been happy hunting grounds for us. Had a lot of fun in previous seasons when we've come to this place. And right now, purple first sector, green in the middle. Big amount of time to gain, though, because that first lap was actually quite slow in the end. But I think it was because it was quite overcast, so the track was quite slow. The track sped up significantly now with the sun out, and so as we try and navigate through, we're going to be up by 1.2 seconds, and that will get us up into P5. But Verstappen, in the same machinery, will go more than half a second quicker for pole position. So that's on me. There was clearly more time to find, and Verstappen is now performing back at his usual amazing level. He's beaten Tsunoda to the pole position. Leclerc showing, though, that him and Ferrari are genuinely back there. A little bit of a slowdown for Williams and Haas, but they're still up there. Lewis Hamilton with a really bad qualifying to forget, P10. So maybe there is some hope that after a bit of an iffy British Grand Prix, we can, as a team, myself and Verstappen, punch back again at Toyota, at least in Lewis Hamilton's case. He's down the order. Let's see what Tsunoda's got, because he looked pretty damn good around the British Grand Prix, of course. Let's go to the grid for Hungary.
It's race day in Budapest as we get ready for another round of Formula One action. We're not expecting too many retirements at this circuit. There are plenty of current and former drivers with flawless finish rates here. In particular, Ralf Schumacher, who made it across the line in all 10 of his Hungarian Grand Prix starts.
Like Silverstone, tyre wear is going to be a major factor here at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Myself and Hulkenberg on the mediums, all cars around us on soft. So is that already an indication of maybe others going aggressive from the get-go, committing to a two-stop, whereas myself and Hulkenberg, and I'm low-key hoping Verstappen maybe open ourselves up for the one-stop. You know, it works so well in Austria. I think we've got to play on to that strength of this car, and maybe Hulkenberg and Haas are looking to do that on that side of the garage as we go to 5 red lights for the second time in this video. Lights out, and we're underway now for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Our teammate on pole. It's a lightning getaway for Nico Hulkenberg as he almost spooks me. I wasn't expecting him to come through on the right-hand side. Big lock-up for Sergio Perez, and we go round the outside of 1, 2, trying 3 cars. It's actually ended up being an amazing lap 1 opening there. It was a really slow start compared to Hulkenberg at least, but in the end, because of that lockup, we managed just to hang it round on the left and get 3 positions in one sequence. And we're up into P4 all of a sudden, and now faking to the right, going to the left, selling Leclerc the dummy for the second time in the episode. We did it at Silverstone, we do it again here at the Hungaroring. All of a sudden, we're P3. We're flying so high. Tsunoda, though, strong as ever in the Toyota, off that race win at the British Grand Prix, back into the lead. Verstappen down to second, but clearly this Red Bull car is pretty damn decent around the Hungaroring, and we're feeling incredibly punchy. Maybe, you know, that DNF just kicking a fire underneath us to bounce back in the best way, but we can't quite make the move on Verstappen. And unfortunately now, Tsunoda just creeping outside of 1 second, so maybe in hindsight, not the wisest thing for me to do, because now the Toyota can maybe stretch its legs. But let's see how the next phase of this stint goes, as we got plenty of moves going on at that turn 1. Leclerc pulling out for a good pass on Perez, as the McLaren will come back at him. I think Perez on the soft compound, Leclerc on the medium, but lap 6, I feel like this might be the crossover where the soft will stop being competitive. And speaking of being competitive, we are once again going toe-to-toe with Verstappen, and this time we do pass him. We meet that objective that Mark set us. So our own engineer wanted us to pass Verstappen, and this is why, because we had the pace to start closing down Tsunoda, but because of the way DRS works on F1 24, Verstappen just follows me and just gets dragged along. So it was actually a good thing that I passed Verstappen, because now both of us are back underneath 1 second to Tsunoda. Lots of fighting going on, meanwhile, up and down the field. But meanwhile, in a different world, you can see Perez, Hamilton, Piastri, Ocon all down the order. Tsunoda, they've pit from a starting soft compound of Tyre, as we now have a good chance to get down the inside of Tsunoda. We've gone from so far back, we lock the rear brakes, the rear end steps out as we try and slow down the car, and in doing so, we went so deep into turn 1, we actually swung across Tsunoda and allowed Verstappen to overtake. So that was almost a bit of unintentional teamwork going on between myself and Verstappen. It seems that's down the drain now as Verstappen overtakes me, at least from his side. I actually don't put up a fight against Verstappen for good reason, because I do want to work with him, because Tsunoda's pit. So at this point in the race, the worst thing we can do is lose too much time with each other. Instead, we need easy swaps like this into turn 1 where, okay, there's a little bit of time lost swapping like that, but we didn't fight side by side for too long. Verstappen's now in on lap 13. We'll go longer because I want to really extend this stint, because I'm still actually not sure. There is definitely a 2-stop on the cards, even at this point, if, let's say, Verstappen goes to another set of mediums, which I think he has, as he's held a little bit. It's a slow pit stop for Verstappen, but he's gone on to mediums. So that's surprising. Verstappen not going for the 1-stop this time, whereas in Austria, he very much did. So that's why I'm extending, because I really do want to make a 1-stop work. But in order to do that, clearly, even with this Red Bull, I need to be putting in more laps on the mediums, as Verstappen just gets pinched out by Hamilton. So Hamilton's undercut has worked by obviously pitting so much earlier because he was on the soft compound, but now Verstappen has much fresher mediums. So even though Verstappen did have to succeed that position, he will come back pretty rapidly. Is 2 laps later then, lap 15. That is how long I can keep these mediums going, but we are now coming in for hards, and I'll be looking to go to the end of this race. But it seems like everyone, apart from me, is doing a 2-stop. So we are in our own boat, we're carving out our own path, but I feel needs must, for the sake of trying to maximize the result, but also genuinely based off the start, I actually think I have some really decent pace here. And even though it might linger a bit with the tyre wear right at the end of the race, I back myself that we can maybe defend track position as we come out just ahead of the titanic little battle going on between Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Always exciting when these two are side by side. Toyota versus Red Bull 4 now in Season 5. Verstappen just gets ahead, and Piastri watching that fight close on. Those three all close together, and ahead of me, 5.6 the gap to Tsunoda. So Tsunoda, he's done really well to stretch his legs. You know, him and Verstappen were so close together. They're both on the 2-stop. So I actually play a team game again, and I'm going to let Verstappen by. I'm going to do him a favor, give him track position, give him clean air, because I actually also, I'm so confident that I will be ahead of him with track position later in the race. So at this point, on my hards, there's no point in holding him up, and for the sake of the team, I'd rather he try and close down Tsunoda, and I can also try and defend Hamilton and just try and cause him a bit of bother. You know, so as a unit, Red Bull versus Toyota, I'm trying to play it as best I can to help this team out. But to be fair to Lewis, I think it may just be a bother and nothing more as he goes down the inside. Piastri's on my outside. It was nearly 3 abreast into that corner, and Piastri's still there on my inside. So you can see there is actually quite a significant difference of pace between the hard and medium. So this is actually kind of, you know, confirming I did the right choice by letting Verstappen by, because I have got no pace versus these guys on their mediums. As Piastri, oh, you know what? Piastri dummied me into a mistake there because I was too afraid to turn in and maybe get spun by his front end. So Piastri plays a bit of chicken with me. He then comes in, Hamilton's in, and then eventually Tsunoda is going to come in on lap 22. And we will take over second place. It is once again a 1-2 for Red Bull, but we know Verstappen will be coming in. And so then I will be leading the Hungarian Grand Prix. And it happens now, lap 27. Quite late in the day for Verstappen to make that second stop, but he's hoping for a real fast and late charge at the end of the race. But Leclerc, by the way, in the Ferrari there, He's in second. He's also on hards. So, go figure. The two former championship rivals of the last 2 seasons, myself and Leclerc, both of us are trying this one stop, and we're both in track position of 1 and 2. Tsunoda third then. Meanwhile, in the bottom of the top 10, you've got some fighting going on between Sargent and Albon for P10. Sainz just behind the two Haas cars, 6 and 7. Okay pace for them, but clearly Toyota and us at Red Bull have a bit more pace around here than Haas this time round, and Ferrari, in the case of Leclerc at least, trying something to get something from this race, but really good battling going on for just one measly point there with Sargent and Albon, as Verstappen is on the soft compound of Tyre, so he's got to get his head down and try and chase after Tsunoda, but Tsunoda's got other ideas, of course, because he wants to overtake Leclerc and then get onto the back of me. So I was hoping Leclerc was going to put up more of a fight than he did, but he basically just invited Tsunoda by. So thanks for that, Charles. You could have, come on, mate. You could have, you know, just a little squeezy. No? Okay. So Verstappen, I probably, based off that, Verstappen will get third place then. But will it be more? Will it be more for Tsunoda? Because now lap 29, 5 laps to go onto lap 30. Tsunoda with DRS, and he's going for the move. We're using battery, but Tsunoda punches past us. It's getting a little bit aggressive as we made a little bit of contact, trying to give him the old squeeze. Tsunoda does get re-overtaken though, because we tightened up the line. We then try and get the elbow out to bring him wide, and it's worked to a treat. I was begging Verstappen was going to be near enough to make that move, and it's worked out for us. We've orchestrated a 1-2 for Red Bull once again, like it was in Austria, but this time I'm trying to get the win. But look how quick Verstappen is on the soft compound of Tyre. He nearly overtook us on the inside. Bloody Nora, we lose the back end. We're wringing the neck out of this Red Bull to try and get first place, and although you might say, oh, maybe we should play the team game here, let Verstappen by and get the 1-2 that way. No, not this time. I want the win, baby. I want the win. I want it. I feel like we can get it, but we have to defend like our life depends on it. But you know what? We've got good practice defending Verstappen here at the Hungaroring, if you cast your minds back to season 1. But we've got 2 problems. Tsunoda's there on the right. We cover him off, but then we invite Verstappen in and we lose the back end, having to soar away at this steering wheel. We were inches away from probably having a bit of contact with Verstappen there. Such was the waywardness of our car. But we take it to the last lap of the Grand Prix. The Toyota's tyres have thankfully given up. And on the last lap, we have a kamikaze dive down the inside. We lock up, trying to slow the car down. Somehow, we've managed it. But Verstappen has the better exit. We're defensive to the left. Verstappen will try and dance the car around the outside, but we get the elbow out and squeeze out our teammate. And you know what? That was very close, and that was very similar to what happened in season 1. This is season 5 on board. And do you remember what happened in season 1? I was in the McLaren, Verstappen was still in the Red Bull 5 seasons ago, and it was quite literally a copycat defensive move there. Wow, oh wow. 5 seasons later, myself and Verstappen are having the same sort of battle, and like in season 1, this is going to ensure that we're coming around the final bend to win the Hungarian Grand Prix. But it's a 1-2 for the team versus Toyota. That is the bigger thing here. That is the bigger thing. But for us, especially after the DNF at the start of the episode with Silverstone, this was the biggest way to bounce back. The win at Hungary. 1-2 as well. Just perfect weekend. Perfect.
It's victory in Budapest then, and what a victory it is after an incredible Grand Prix.
It's not every day that we get to see such incredible wheel-to-wheel racing. Next time, they might consider making it easier for themselves, but today, we absolutely loved all the action that we got to see out there.
Well, Verstappen got his second win for Red Bull at the Austrian Grand Prix. We now take our second win of the season here at the Hungaroring, and that was a really well done race. It was so close to pull off that defensive work, but I actually can't believe that we got a copycat move of the Season 1 defense. And then look at that then. Even with that win, I'm still behind Verstappen by 5 points. And because of the way Silverstone went, we're 20 points off the next Toyota. So that British Grand Prix really did a number on us with 43 points off Toyota. So at one point after Austria, it seemed like we could maybe get one of the Toyotas in the championship. When I say we, Verstappen could have got him. But now, because of the way Silverstone went, even with a 1-2 here, because Tsunoda and Hamilton scored okay, it's looking difficult again. So, again, we just got to press on and try our best and at least maybe enjoy these moments where we can take victory, because that was a really, really hard-fought one. Guys, if you have enjoyed this double race episode, then be sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And if you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.